Good day to everyone. I'm delighted to share our insights and initiatives on the coal to clean energy transition. Let me begin with a brief introduction and background on ACEN Corporation. ACEN is the listed renewable energy platform of Ayala, which is one of the largest and most diversified business groups in the Philippines. Ayala is also the longest standing business house as it celebrates its 190th anniversary this year. ACEN, on the other hand, is the youngest core business of Ayala, having been established from a standing start in 2011. Today, ACEN has close to 7 gigawatts of renewable capacity in operations, under construction, and signed agreements or won tenders. The Philippines is our core and largest market, accounting for around 40% of our capacity. We also have significant presence in Australia, Vietnam, and India, and a modest presence in Indonesia and other markets. The company is focused on solar and wind energy and is in the process of scaling up energy storage across the portfolio. While the company had always aspired to be renewables focused, as we are today, it did not start that way. We began our journey in 2011 in the Philippines from 0 megawatts, and our very first investment was a modest 50% equity stake in a 33 megawatt wind farm in northern Philippines. But we then quickly realized that renewables at the time would not scale up because it was very expensive and intermittent, i.e., unreliable. And what the country needed at the time was to support its growth was reliable and affordable power. And that could only be addressed by building baseload coal plants. So then our first 5 years was focused on building such capacity. And the good news is that the company was able to scale up beyond 1,000 megawatts of capacity and making a meaningful difference to the country. The not so good news, however, was that 93% of the capacity came from coal and only 7% from renewables. However, in 2016, 2017, we felt the groundswell on sustainable energy. Renewables was becoming more competitive and scalable, and the orientation on ESG was becoming more mainstream. We then took a strategic decision and a critical pivot from thermal to renewable sometime in 2017, where we redefined our market and decided that we do not have to be the largest power company in the Philippines, but we would like to aspire to become one of the largest renewable platforms in the region. And so the transformation journey began by divesting our coal assets and reinvesting the proceeds into our aggressive renewables expansion in the Philippines and beyond the region. And as a result, we had grown our renewable portfolio from 70 megawatts in 2016 to around 5,000 megawatts of capacity today, with a line of sight to reaching 7,000 megawatts imminently. ACEN aspires to reach 20 gigawatts of renewables capacity by 2030 and net zero GHG emissions by 2050. Apart from scaling up renewables, ACEN is also pioneering initiatives in early coal retirement. The company successfully implemented the world's first market-based energy transition mechanism, which reached financial close in November of 2022. The transaction involved the divestment and commitment to the early retirement of the 246 megawatt South Luzon Thermal Energy Corporation, or SLTech, coal plant, and its transition to cleaner technology by 2040 when the coal plant completes 25 years of operations. As the operating life of coal plants typically reach up to 50 years, the groundbreaking ETM initiative potentially reduces up to 50 million tons of carbon emissions. The ETM was supported by debt from Philippine banks, namely Bank of the Philippine Islands and Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, and equity investments from insurance companies such as the Government Service Insurance System, GSIS, and Insular Life, among other investors. And while the 2040 coal retirement plan is laudable, ACEN recognizes the position of International Energy Agency, or IEA, that is, if we are to attain the 1.5 degrees limit, the world would need to reduce coal emissions by 55% between 2022 and 2030. This would certainly be challenging for Southeast Asia, which collectively has the fourth largest coal plant installation globally and a strong growing demand for electricity and have among the youngest coal plant fleet with an average age of under 15 years. With that said, this should not be a reason for Southeast Asian companies to do nothing. And to this end, ACEN gave itself the option or the right to reacquire the SLTech coal plant as early as 2030 in the event that the right mechanism to incentivize an accelerated coal plant retirement emerges. Such mechanism is taking shape in the form of transition credits. Transition credits are high integrity carbon credits that are granted to projects that enable the early retirement of coal plants and their replacement with clean energy while ensuring a just transition. We're quite fortunate that both the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or MAS, and the Rockefeller Foundation's Coal to Clean Credit Initiative, or 3CI, are both promoting the creation and scaling of transition credits in Asia and around the world. During COP28 last December in Dubai, ACEN, 3CI, and MAS announced an exciting collaboration to implement the world's first coal to clean credit pilot project. The initiative will help road test the new methodology being developed by 3CI and hopefully jumpstart the market for transition credits. MAS, meanwhile, also signed a second pilot project with the Asian Development Bank involving a coal plant in Mindanao in southern Philippines. ACEN's pilot project seeks to increase its ambition by accelerating the transition of SLTech coal plant to cleaner energy by 2030, 10 years earlier than what is already an aggressive retirement schedule. We are targeting both compliance and voluntary market participants, including sovereign and corporate buyers, to purchase these high-quality, high-integrity carbon credits. Proceeds from the transition credits will help fund the just transition for the coal plant, which will ensure that, number one, all stakeholders are kept whole and taken care of: the communities, the workers, the lenders, shareholders, customers. Number two, that a responsible decommissioning is undertaken. And number three, that a successful repurposing of the asset, taking into consideration all key stakeholders, happen. These transition credits will also provide financial support for the clean energy replacement to make sure that this is reliable and affordable. The plan is to replace the 246 megawatt coal baseload capacity that produces around 1.8 billion kilowatt hours of annual capacity with a 400 megawatt mid-merit IRES plant, which means an integrated renewables and energy storage system. This mid-merit IRES plant entails around $1.5 billion of investment and is envisioned to be configured as a 1,400 megawatt peak capacity of a solar plant integrated with a 1,600 megawatt hour battery energy storage system. This replacement capacity will ensure that, number one, that the foregone coal plant output is matched 100%. Number two, that the impact on the grid is negligible, given that the renewables intermittency is mitigated by the energy storage system. And number three, that the output is reliable and dispatchable. In summary, we are truly excited about the progress on transition credits. We are very grateful for the leadership of MAS and the Rockefeller Foundation, and we will also welcome the possibility of working with our potential partners, namely Gen Zero and Keppel Infrastructure, with whom we signed an MOU last month on a potential joint collaboration at the project level. This transition credit initiative is being undertaken with the highest level of standards and integrity. It is envisioned to be implemented under Article 6 with corresponding adjustments, and that the initiative has meaningful scale and real impact. The timeline is imminent, and the progress and momentum is strong. And perhaps equally, if not most importantly, the initiative is envisioned to be a catalyst for other future similar initiatives. We believe that this program is scalable and that we're going through a critical first step of a journey that is critically important. And yes, it is very challenging, but worth all our collective efforts to ensure success. We very much look forward to this continuing journey together. Thank you all very much.